as they introduce us and you to some of Charlotte's most interesting spots. We'll see you next time. Until then, you can follow us as we work our way through Charlotte's neighborhoods on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Your 704.
Nice. And now you can touch the auto blade.
Thank you.
Breaking now at noon as flames burn through this apartment complex. A heroic neighbor rushed from door to door to make sure everyone got out safely. The praise he's now getting from families and the investigation into what started that fire.
Also breaking at noon, a man shot to death found lying in the middle of a street. Now police are trying to track down his killer. We are live as the investigation unfolds right now.
2 deadly crashes involving Boeing 737 jets. Now, American Airlines pilots are begging Boeing to make changes. What they say they were never told about that could impact everyone. You're watching Eyewitness News live at noon.
Great to have you with us this midday. We start with that apartment complex fire in Statesville. From Chopper 9, you can see the damage to the side of the building and the roof right there.
A neighbor says he spotted the flames and quickly ran door to door to get everybody out. Those neighbors told our Dave Faraday he saved their lives. And Dave joins us now live.
Allison, I just got a chance to talk with the fire chief. He says fortunately no one was hurt in all this. If you look behind me, you can see some of the damage to that apartment complex here west of the downtown area. Some of the residents tell me they only had time to get out with the clothes that they were wearing, didn't even have time to put their shoes on. Take a look at some of this video we shot over the last hour or so from Chopper 9 Sky Zoom. You can see some of the damage. When we arrived, we can still see smoke coming out of the attic of the 4-unit apartment complex. Ashley McCurdy was driving by and captured some of this video of the flames shooting out of the apartment complex. Firefighters believe the fire most likely started in a downstairs unit and then spread to the top floors. Several of the folks inside had no idea about the fire until a neighbor across the street spotted the flames and ran over and began banging on some of the doors. William Whittington, that neighbor, says he didn't think twice even after the heat caused some of the windows to break out.
Get them out. I know who all stays in there, and I had to get them out. I know the girl, it was the girl up top there, and I know she was probably in there, and I know she was probably in the bed. So I just had to get her out.
And these are live pictures of the scene. You can see the apartment complex there to the right. I'm going to kind of just pan over and push in, and the damage to that roof line where the flames were actually coming out of the awning up there. I did see some firefighters going inside a short time ago, trying to salvage some of the belongings from those residents here. Some of those residents are now leaving this area. Also, the Red Cross has been out here as well, trying to help those residents this midday. Reporting live from Statesville, I'm Dave Faraday. Now back to you.
Dave, thanks. Also breaking at noon, police in Shelby say a man was shot to death and left lying in the middle of a road.
So far, they have not found who killed Dwayne Oates on Lineberger Street. Our Ken Lemon is live for us there right now. Ken, walk us through this breaking news.
Yeah, very somber news here. I spoke with some of the people who live in the area, and they tell me that he was found just down the street here and walking right down Lineberger Street, right over near the convenience store there. A few minutes ago, I had an opportunity to speak with his family. They shared with me this, a picture of him. That man, again, 54-year-old.
We'll get back to our reporter Ken Lemon with that breaking news in just a moment as we work through the audio issues this afternoon. A local officer among thousands of officers remembered for the ultimate sacrifice. York County Detective Mike Doty was just honored at a memorial service in Washington, D.C. The memorial service is part of National Police Week, where officers killed in the line of duty are remembered. Detective Doty was one of 4 officers shot while searching for a suspect in January 2018.
A man is now in jail accused of killing a 19-year-old woman in Salisbury. Investigators say Jeffrey Hooker Jr. killed Maya Miller yesterday along North Long Street. Channel 9's Tina Terry is live for us there right now. Tina, police say they were able to arrest the suspect last night after he fired more shots.
Yeah, from everything that we've been able to gather from police so far, Paul, it seems this man was just on a shooting spree yesterday. Let's go to some video from Chopper 9 Sky Zoom. Police responded to North Long Street yesterday where they say Jeffrey Hooker shot 19-year-old Maya Miller. Now, detectives say she was riding as a passenger in a car when Hooker shot her. She later died at the hospital. Right now, detectives say they don't know if she was targeted or if she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And last night around 9, detectives received another call about a drive-by shooting near Victory Street, and they spotted Hooker's vehicle and eventually arrested and charged him with Miller's death and the drive-by from last night. Detectives tell us that they plan to regroup here around 1 this afternoon, and they will start to dig into whether or not there is a motive in this case or if anyone else was involved. Back to you.
Lots of unanswered questions there, Tina. We know you'll continue to report on this for us tonight in Salisbury. Thank you.
The trial will begin today for a man accused of shooting and killing a teenage girl at a Mount Holly park. According to the Gaston Gazette, Taylor Smith's family couldn't stand to watch the police body camera video yesterday, and they left in tears. It showed her lying in the grass at the River Street Park. Prosecutors say Darvin Fletcher and Eric Holmes took Smith to that park in 2017, where she was shot and killed. Fletcher faces life in prison if convicted.
An update on the big story we were following all day yesterday. A woman is still recovering in the hospital a day after this serious crash involving a Head Start bus. It was full of preschool children when it flipped on Highway 52 in Stanley County. Troopers say the driver of a pickup truck ran a stop sign and crashed right into the side of the bus and that SUV. Now, 2 adults and 15 children were on the bus. They are all going to be okay, fortunately, after being checked out at the hospital. The woman driving the SUV, though, has serious injuries. One mother was so relieved when she realized her 4 kids were okay.
When I finally see my kids, the only thing I want to do was just hold my kids.
Right now, troopers are still investigating. We hear they do plan to charge the driver who caused this crash. We'll let you know when that happens.
It's Dan versus Dan. Republican Dan Bishop won yesterday's District 9 primary and now faces Democrat Dan McCready for the seat in Congress. There are several tactics both sides will take up in the upcoming election, including Bishop sponsoring the so-called bathroom bill. You'll hear more about the District 9 election fraud scandal. And here's what both candidates had to say about that just last night.
You know, whatever happens in another time is in the rearview mirror. I think all that it takes is a campaign that shows that it's organized and ready to win, and a conservative they know they can rely on, and that's what they've got in me.
This is the race. I'm sure you remember they tried to steal with their election fraud. Now's the time to right this wrong.
My colleague Joe Bruno will sit down with both Bishop and McCready this afternoon. He'll discuss the upcoming election and the scandal. Make sure you watch his full interview today at 5 o'clock.
Police are investigating another shooting at an extended stay in southwest Charlotte. Overnight, someone shot a man several times outside the motel on York Mound Road and South Tryon Street. Police believe the victim may have been staying at the motel. They responded to a situation earlier at that motel, and they're not sure if both those incidents are connected. There was a homicide at that same motel less than 3 weeks ago. Tarina Inman was killed inside a room. A man was also shot that day, but he survived. Police have not arrested anyone in that case at this point. I want to quickly get you back to that breaking news in Shelby. Police are trying to find the person who shot and killed a man, then left him in the street to die. Police in Shelby say someone shot Dwayne Oates this morning on Lineberger Street. Detectives are investigating exactly what led to that killing and who pulled the trigger. Channel 9's Ken Lemon is going to have the very latest for us tonight at 5 o'clock.
The Gold Line streetcar is about to undergo major changes. In a little more than 2 weeks, CATS will suspend streetcar services for 18 months. CATS is offering bus routes as an alternative until the Gold Line is back open in 2021, but buses will operate on the same schedule as the streetcars. We've investigated the slowdowns and the delays in the Gold Line streetcar construction for years now. Steel girders still have to be replaced on the Hawthorne Bridge because they didn't meet the specifications. At 5 o'clock, we'll dig deeper into the Gold Line changes, including what this means for everyone, no matter if you ride the streetcar or not.
OSHA is now investigating an accident that left a Conover worker trapped in a machine for an hour. Firefighters say earlier this month a worker at Elite Comfort Solutions was on a machine that compresses foam when he got trapped. The worker was pulled under a roller and has serious injuries from all of this. Our partners at the Daily Record report OSHA is looking into that accident to see exactly what happened. That investigation could take a few months. We checked and at the time found no local OSHA issues at that plant.
In Gastonia, a bus carrying 3 middle school students hit an SUV. It happened in front of Ashbrook High School on South New Hope Road. It caused major delays for drivers and for buses. Medic says that none of the students were hurt. The city of Charlotte wants to bring electric buses to the airport. Currently, there are 70 buses that run on diesel fuel, which uses more than 547,000 gallons of fuel per year just doing loops at the airport. A proposal would transition the buses to electric starting next year. Electric buses cost more money to purchase up front, but they're cheaper to operate year after year.
Drivers parking in bike lanes in uptown Charlotte. It's both illegal and dangerous. The new bike lanes are clearly marked with bright green paint and plastic dividers, but in several instances we've seen photos and videos showing trucks and cars parked in those areas. Many of those new lanes are in Councilman Larkin Eggleston's district. He says those lanes are crucial to safety and improving congestion uptown, and he's frustrated.
If people don't feel like those bike lanes are going to be safe and reliable ways for them to get in and out of town, they're going to be less inclined to want to use them.
CDOT officials tell Channel 9 they are working with partners to keep those bike lanes clear, but they didn't mention any specific new fines or towing. Coming up, American Airlines pilots pleading with Boeing to fix a new system that's likely caused these deadly crashes. Coming up next, the major concern they had with that new system and what the FAA is now saying about those planes.
This man is accused of killing 3 people across 3 southern states. Investigators say he's a serial killer and carnival worker. Next, the harsh words from one victim's mother.
And get ready for that summer-like heat. I'm tracking warmer air and humidity moving in, and when we could see that first 90-degree day of the season. That's next.
Weather on WSOC is driven by Toyota of North Charlotte, I-77, exit 23, where big city low prices are just a click away.
Right now, lawmakers are getting an update on the safety changes Boeing has made after 2 of its 737 jets crashed, killing everyone on board.
The head of the FAA and the top transportation safety official are testifying about the decision to ground the planes when they did. The U.S. was one of the last countries to pull the planes from the sky. They're also testifying about what's being done to make sure they're safe to fly in the coming months. American Airlines pilots pleaded with Boeing to fix the 737 MAX jets before another accident killed someone. In November, American Airlines pilot union officials met with Boeing engineers in Dallas, and they were pretty angry they weren't aware of a new system that ultimately played a role in the 2 deadly crashes. In audio recordings, they told Boeing they deserve to know what is on our airplanes. Union officials then urged Boeing to take more action to keep pilots, flight attendants, and the passengers safe. Investigators say this carnival worker is a serial killer who left a deadly trail across multiple states.
Yeah, investigators say James Wright confessed to killing 3 women in the South, one of them 17-year-old Jocelyn Alsup. She disappeared March 8th. Authorities believe Wright killed her the next day, March 9th.
He is unfit to be even called a monster because he is the scum of all earth.
Yeah, her mother sat down with our sister station in Georgia. She says her daughter met Wright in September at the North Georgia State Fair. Investigators say Wright killed people in Virginia, Georgia, and Tennessee, believe February 28th and March 7th.
I see someone that shouldn't be on earth. My heart is so full of hate for him and what he has done.
Investigators say Wright claims he accidentally shot all 3 victims. The company in charge of the carnival says it is helping with that investigation.
A former North Carolina representative will be back in court today accused of filing false campaign finance reports. Channel 9 was there when Rodney Moore turned himself in to investigators on 9 felony charges. They say he didn't report more than $141,000 in campaign spending, $25,000 in cash withdrawals. His committee is accused of also changing bank records. A local school resource officer has won a national award for his work at a middle school in Conover. Newton Conover Middle School Resource Officer Danny Baker has been named the Floyd Ledbetter National School Resource Officer. Just last year, Baker was named the North Carolina State School Resource Officer. Officer Baker tells us he loves interacting with the students and especially keeping them safe.
I think it's a group award. I'm surrounded by just a phenomenal staff. And just we come in and we kind of stay together and just love on the kids.
Baker says being a school resource officer was a calling for him. It's do or die for the Carolina Hurricanes after losing Game 3 to the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, they have to win tomorrow night's game or they are out of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Canes entered the second period down 2 goals. Carolina fought back with that beauty, but it wasn't enough to pull out a win. The Bruins now have a 3-0 stranglehold on the series. Take a look at this, though. Some Panthers were in the crowd to help rally those Canes fans. Chris McCaffrey and Luke Kuechly, both of them there, sounding that hurricane warning siren. Julius Peppers, Greg Olson, and owner David Tepper also cheered on the crowd, but not enough to get the Canes going.
What if their arm hurts this morning?
That's quite the motion. Hopefully no physical therapy there. Let's head over to meteorologist Tony Sadico standing by. Beautiful day to get out and about town, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. This weather definitely got to cheer about. Temperatures outside, mid-60s, but this is really something you want to enjoy because we do not have too many of these days left. We're going to start to transition our weather pattern. We'll talk about that. Right now, we're in the upper 60s. Charlotte, 68, 66. Blue skies out there. Salisbury, 66 right now. Nice mixture of sun and clouds as we go throughout the day. We'll end up at about 75, which, again, is about a couple of degrees warmer than yesterday, but still shy of that average, which is 78. We will start to add a couple more in the way of clouds, and here's why. We're watching an upper level disturbance that's bringing rain through parts of Tennessee. You see those showers over Nashville. It's going to continue generally approaching the area from the west, but this is why I'm not really concerned about a ton of rain. Here's Futurecast by 4 or 5 o'clock as that system approaches. Notice it will start to add more cloud cover, but showers don't really impact the region. Maybe a stray shower for the mountains, but you'll notice as we go throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening, those showers showers will tend to fall apart. We've still got that dry air in place, so we do stay dry here in the Charlotte area. So great weather. Check out Charlotte Knights again facing Rochester tonight. First pitch 7:04. Temperatures falling out of the 70s. You may just notice kind of that filtered sunshine out there by the time the sun sets. So still very nice, comfortable, dry air in place. That, again, will start to change as we approach the next couple of days. Still not bad tomorrow in terms of that humidity. Friday, you'll start to notice it gets a tad more muggy. And then by the weekend, especially as those temperatures, we crank them up to about 91, which, by the way, will be the warmest temperatures we've seen since October. We will also add a little bit of humidity out there as well. So gorgeous-looking weekend. It's just going to be on the warm side with a little bit of humidity as well. And with the heat, can't rule out a couple of pulse nature thunderstorms, but generally speaking, pretty dry looking weather here this weekend.
Pulse nature thunderstorms.
Yes.
That's a meteorological term.
Just, you know, those storms that kind of bubble up in the daytime heating.
And they cause a quick flash and go?
Absolutely. That's why you got to have that WSOC weather app handy.
Good idea. Thanks, Tony. Well, a judge is fed up after so many people didn't show up for jury duty. They actually couldn't even begin a murder trial. Coming up next, the drastic steps the court will take if those people continue to ignore their summons. In the next 2 hours, North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein will make a major announcement about Juul. That's the e-cigarette device that looks like a flash drive. Action 9 has investigated Juul, particularly how easy students say it is for them to sneak a puff in school. Juul contains as much nicotine as an entire pack of cigarettes. Health groups are begging the FDA to do more to regulate these e-cigarettes. Once again, Attorney General Stein will have that major announcement at 2 o'clock on his Juul investigation. Action 9's Jason Sujanki is going to break it all down for us starting at 5.
A Caldwell County judge is threatening to arrest people who didn't show up for jury duty. Nancy Austin is set to go on trial for the murder of her daughter's boyfriend more than 5 years ago in Lenore. 150 people were sent a jury summons, but only 47 showed up. It's so bad, the clerk of court says if they have to, they'll send deputies to nearby stores to find jurors.
If I had to, but I wouldn't want to.
As long as they let them finish doing what they're doing.
Get their groceries home.
Yeah, get their groceries home.
So far, no jurors have been seated in that trial. Researchers track sharks up and down the East Coast. Next, the two massive sharks now off the Carolina coast.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time.
2 massive sharks have pinged off the South Carolina coast.
OSearch tracks the sharks and other ocean life for research. It says last week a massive 15-foot shark named Luna pinged off the Charleston coast. The group has tracked the great white shark since October of 2018. Meanwhile, Caroline, a 13-foot whitefoot shark, pinged off Edisto Beach.
Gonna need a bigger boat. But we don't need a boat for the rain, do we?
No, not at all. We've got a nice dry stretch here next couple of days. Only a low chance of rain really throughout the next 7 days. We may get a front by early next week, but other than that, looking good. The big story will be the heat.
Nice to see Saturday clearing out. Thanks, Tony. Thank you for joining us this midday.
Join us back here at 5 o'clock. Have a good one.
WSOC-TV is a Cox Media Group station.